nice front and back, leader's garment. Quite happy.
It's alright, isn't it? Looks pretty good in that bad boy.
Excellent, I think the word you're looking for is... Look at that thing. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Beautiful.
Now, only if you're ready for this.
Welcome back to the OTB podcast, New Zealand's original and still the best New Zealand mountain bike podcast. And following on the trend that we talked about last week with our rise in popularity with the mechanics on the World Cup circuit, this week we have a special guest joining us to break down the Leger World Cup. GT factory racing mechanic Matt Clarke, aka Snowy, has joined us, and it's fantastic that this show might actually have a shred of credibility this week because someone was actually at the race. As always, joining me in the co-host seat, Red Dog. Welcome back, mate.
Kia ora, Kerry. Great to have someone who was actually at the race rather than just hear us couch potatoes talk shit on people.
I know. Thanks for joining us, Snowy. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no worries, guys. It's quite funny listening to your podcast and there's all the rumours and then I know some of the real stories, not all of them.
Like these guys.
No, we'll get into that, Snow. We'll dig right into those, eh?
Yeah. That's your segment this week. We want to hear all the team rumours, so you can just dish them out for us. And no one listens to this show anyway, so it doesn't matter.
The team rumours are pretty rife at the moment because there's a lot of teams
I bet.
sort of going under and switching and stuff like that. So,
The mountain bike industry is in a bit of a struggle at the moment, that's for sure. So I imagine there's going to be a few teams that might disappear this season. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rumours that we get told, which you actually don't know how much truth's in them. So
yeah, you got to take it all with a grain of salt and see what comes out of it. All you got to do is fight it.
I just want to know what junior
racing rumours on
Snowman's
Vital
going to be
TV.
working with next year.
Junior.
You want
Well, you take juniors to the top, Snowman. So I want to know who's next.
What junior have I taken to the top?
Well, mostly you just, make them hard. Like I'm sure you've given old Pinky some hard lessons.
Oh yeah, definitely.
you got to keep them on
I
your
guess
toes.
I was in the team in Lapierre when Bruni was a junior, so I taught him a few things.
Wow, there you go.
So I mean, he's got to.
Look where he got
take
to.
a wee bit of credit for his achievements.
Oh, absolutely. You got to take
And
some
I
percent
actually
by
told
that one.
him when we were in South Africa, I said, "Oh, you're gonna go fucking good," I could pick it pretty early. But that was cool because, they used to race with the seniors.
Yeah, they did.
And then
That
they
was
just
when
had a
juniors
separate
were
prize
hard.
giving. Yeah. Now it's just pathetic.
It's all soft.
Yeah.
This is the content we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into the podcast, I just got to say a quick sponsor plug, show supporters, Troy Lee Designs. Oh yeah, they've been on board with us. And if you want some of the best gear out there, just use OTB podcast at checkout on troyleedesigns.co.nz. That'll save yourself 15%. They've also got a massive spring sale that's just started. So jump on board, get yourself some gear for the spring and summer. While you're at it, get yourself some fresh kit from Smith Optics. Went riding my Wildcats today. Always my favourite glasses to wear out there. But we've also just brought on a new show supporter by the name of Filthy Bike Wash. Now, Filthy Bike Wash is actually a New Zealand-based bike wash company that is made here and not imported from overseas, and I can vouch that it is actually really bloody good stuff. I went the full lazy route with my bike this week. It was covered in mud. I sprayed it on, left it for about 5 minutes, and it hosed off totally clean without scrubbing it. So I'm definitely been impressed. Red Dog, you've got some on the way. I think you'll probably get it next week, so you can give us a report
I didn't give you
next
my
show.
address, so have you just had to guess?
I know what your address is. I just sent it to Red
good.
Dog Wellington.
That's great.
No, I've got your address, mate.
Yeah, sweet.
But no, it is made in New Zealand. It's fully biodegradable. It's got a good, solid, recycled plastic bottle. Doesn't make your brakes squeal. So it's so far been very impressive. And you can jump onto filthy.net.nz and get yourself a 15% discount by using OTB15 at checkout. They're also doing free postage as well. So good deals to be had there, and we'll have to keep you guys updated as we get on and get using it with Red Dog and Lester and Chris, and maybe we'll get Snowy on the program when he's back in the country too.
Or be keen.
But good stuff there, good bike wash. But I mean, Snowy, it's how many years has this been since you've been on the World Cup circuit?
I think it's about 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be a while. And I mean, for those of you who don't know, Snow, you would have last worked with Cam Cole on Lapierre.
Yeah.
So you took him to some World Cup podiums.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he got first World Cup back, 5th in Val di Sole. And
That's
then
a
I
pretty
think it was the
decent
only
result.
podium, but we did qualify first at Val d'Isere as well. And then Brooke
That's
ended
right.
up. I think Brooke qualified like 2nd or 3rd and then blew one of the turns out and just wrecked it for horse and he got 8th, I think.
It was like strategic move, you reckon?
Yeah, I think horse should have just pegged it back a bit in qualifying and gone just before Bulldog and probably used that to take the win instead. But
Yeah.
yeah, apparently there was a big rock in the middle of a corner and you couldn't avoid it, and so he had to take evasive action.
I remember that. Yeah.
I do too. But back to the present this year, you two have reunited. But,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you're still spinning the wrenches, but now with Horse as the team manager, so you're on board with the GT team, as I mentioned at the start, and you started the season out with Jess Blewett, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we did
she-
quite a lot of testing in New Zealand and went to nationals and that, where I was quite, had quite a lot of FOMO because you guys were all riding 26-inch bikes and I was like, fuck, where's my Rocky Mountain?
There's always
Shit,
next
yeah.
year.
KB was.
Yeah, I know,
I've already-
He's a coward, eh? Yeah.
I
I've
was.
already hit Horse up about getting the old bike back because he still
Yeah.
got it.
Well, it's not going to do anything. Just like my Sunday isn't doing anything in my garage, so I can't say
Yeah,
much.
and Horse
But
probably won't race it. He'll race, some wagon wheels, so
yeah, he wants speed.
Yeah,
I
no,
may, as
yeah.
well race it, eh?
Hell yeah.
So
I
how's
know.
the,
I know where another one's going though. Snowman doesn't share it. The 577 have a lap here to offload.
Yeah, but I don't want to ride that thing.
Yeah, you've seen those things in action.
I personally pushed the bottom headset cup out by hand.
I got that video and it did not look good.
I was
Yeah,
a little
nah.
bit worried when I stayed with him a few weeks ago. I didn't see it in the garage, so I don't know where the 577 machine is, whether maybe it's just gone to recycling or hopefully he's got it in storage somewhere.
Probably should go to recycling.
Get
I
that.
mean, Blinky's probably got a better frame in his house that he could use if he really wanted to race a Lapierre. And it's
Yeah.
probably a real one, not just... I think the one he got was one that Cam got sent
Just a
when he
replacement.
first signed for the team. No, so it was like a real...
Oh, real.
No, one of
I remember working on it.
Not a race
before.
one.
Yeah, it wasn't like... His factory ones used to have stickers with coal written on the inside of the head tube. And it had the sticker, but it had just numbers on it.
Just add ball bag on there.
Yeah.
It was like one of Justin's old Yetis. What did it have, like sheep fucker or something stamped into the bottom bracket?
Yeah. I
one
remember that.
of the prototype ones, and the guys in the machine shop had stamped that into the bottom bracket for him. I'm pretty sure his old man still got that.
That's good, eh?
I think it's somewhere, yeah.
That's good.
I
Is
actually
it
get
around?
hit up about sheep in Europe, and it's funny because I just say, no, well, that's Australia now because they've got all the sheep. We just got cows.
Cows are too tall.
And the word cow fucker is not as good as sheep fucker.
Nah. Peg that on the Aussies.
Yeah.
Man, onto the... I mean, before we go too deep diving and just go completely off tangent talking about stuff that happened 15 years ago, I feel like I've said it multiple times this season, but fuck, what a race. Up the Benwahs. Man, I was
Oh,
happy
it
to
was
see
good.
Benoit win.
Yeah, he's been fighting for that for a long time. I've actually got to know like his mechanic pretty well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that guy puts in some fucking work, because he's Cammy's mechanic as well. And he doesn't
no
actually
way.
go
So
to the
he's-
start for Cammy. So he's doing
Really?
2 elite riders. Oh, it'd be hell.
That's gnarly. So he is mechanicking
Oh
for
my
2
God.
people that could be potentially winning a World Cup on any given weekend. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Probably it'd probably be better. You'd be really screwed if it was a top woman and then maybe your elite male qualifies in the 20s.
Yeah,
You'd
it'd be a bit
straight
tighter.
away. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
have any time to work on them between bites because pretty much like the practice finishes for each race weekend is so tight. You've got like an hour practice on race day for A and B, and usually women are in B. So you would have, 1 hour for the women first, then you'd have A practice, and then you're straight into the women's race. So
Yeah, that would be hectic.
you've got like someone practicing, and you're trying to flip the bike to get it ready for the race in an hour. Plus, they need to go up an hour before, or usually 40 minutes to an hour before, depending on the rider, for their warm-up. So he doesn't go up for Cammy's race, her semi or final.
That's crazy. I still
have a lot-
can't.
Wow.
I can't believe that. Like, yeah, I mean, like Doyle looks pretty. Obviously they're not like a full top team, but like they look pretty legit. But to still be running like one mechanic for those 2 riders seems insane to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, no, they go pretty fucking hard.
I guess they're a privateer team, fundamentally. So budgets are
Does
budgets.
anyone
Are budgets.
else
So
do that?
I got a real problem with this word privateer.
well, it's a pretty
It's so
loose
freaking
term.
blurred. Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible. To me, a privateer is someone like fucking Rufus and Nation who's sleeping in the woods in
Well,
Wilsing and
yeah.
scrape their way to a race
Oh, that's
and
the
probably
that's
don't
the-
qualify. But
I
then
don't
you
even think
can't,
that-
if you're getting paid money to race, like, or even given free stuff, you're not really a privateer, are you?
I didn't mean to trigger you. I'm sorry.
Nah,
but-
nah. Well,
Nah,
we'll
I
just
was
wait
more-
till we get onto the hard line and then you'll be fucking triggered, won't you?
I'm just more meaning, like they're clearly not the top Lapierre team in the pits. Like, the
Common
Markov. I mean, Common Cell. Sorry, I'm still
Yeah.
stuck 15 years
But
ago
I
talking
don't.
about
It's
Lapierre.
really weird. I don't know if any of. I know obviously Markov's probably the top, but
Yeah.
I think they get a really similar amount of support.
Yeah.
I could actually ask them, but
Yeah.
they do get
Show us your
special
contract.
colours and stuff. So
Oh yeah, like I don't think they're being held back or anything, but I'm sure like their budget's smaller than what the Markov Common Cell team is from the outside.
can't
oh,
afford enough
totally.
mechanics.
Yeah. They've actually got a pretty cool setup. I think it's pretty good because I think there's a lot of wasted money in
Yeah.
World Cup racing, but I
I
think
thought you were going to
that's-
say in mechanics.
Well, no, because we don't get paid much.
That's true.
So it's not really a waste, is it? They're getting a good product for frickin' cheap.
Do you reckon? I mean, so that makes him the 6th different elite winner this season. So there's been no repeats, and
Yeah.
Andy Kolb was obviously going to be the closest one to repeating. But man, I don't think you could have picked a better winner to win in Leger. Like that was just fan
Well, it had to be
favorite.
someone French, eh?
But like, I mean, I'm sure everyone would have gone nuts if like Loris or Loic had won. But I don't know. Like, I think everyone was just so happy to see Benoit get a win.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
Yeah.
And that,
I think.
that was
So a similar win to Andy, like they've been trying so hard for so long. And
Yeah.
just trying to get everything to fit together. It's such a struggle.
yeah. They're those guys who have just worked for it. They haven't come in
Yeah.
like as
Yeah.
the super talented juniors or anything. Like they've just been grinding away and now won World Cups. So
Yeah.
but we had a pretty interesting stat or several stats. Shout out to Andy Ward, sent us this on Instagram. Not Andy Ward of Virus Brand, but an Andy Ward from New Zealand.
What? Two
After
Andy Ward.
6, yeah, would you
Maybe
believe it?
Horse needs to employ him on Virus New Zealand.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He's a
he
stat
should.
man. I mean, this is seriously impressive, all right? So after 6 rounds in the men's, there have been 6 different winners, 16 different riders have been on the podium, 30 different riders have made a top 10 and 60 different riders have made it through to at least one final. Of those 60, 15 have only made the finals once. And so he said, I think it shows there is the top 15 are in true contention for a win or podium, which, yeah, I think like those top 10 to 15 have been pretty legit strong in terms of you could kind of, you know, just about pick any of them to take a win at any given time. So it was, I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like battles of injuries, a lot of people falling out, but I mean you can't discredit anyone else winning because anything can happen.
I mean, we're only missing a couple of key guys. Wow, who are we missing? Perron.
Hill,
That's kind of it
Hill.
in the men's. Hill's
Sam
been. Did Hill ever come back, or?
There was talk about it, but I don't know if he actually did.
Do we just pretend that didn't happen? I think we'll just leave it at 2008. Yeah.
It must be pretty hard because the level is just insane.
Oh, it's mental.
I had quite a few beersies with Horse and PD and stuff like that, and I was razzing them up to try and get them to race again, and he's just a firm no. He's like, you'd be so disappointed. There's no point.
You'd get smashed.
It's insane how fast these guys are.
Even like the pace that the women are riding now, I reckon is getting closer. It would be an interesting one actually to look at like the women's winning times versus the men's over the last few years and to see what that looks like. But I reckon they're getting closer and closer.
Oh, for sure. I think back in the day we probably all thought we could, having a sex change wasn't a thing back then, but we could have all won a World Cup in women's, or at least got on the podium. But now there's no fucking way. Like, they're seriously fast.
They're so gnarly, and I mean, it's pretty damn impressive, the pace. But actually, here's another little stat: Benoit's the first person this year that has won qualifying, semi-finals, and finals. No one else has actually won all three at a World Cup this year. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, real impressive.
Outside of that. But it was an interesting run because I started looking at some of the split times and stuff, and he actually didn't go fastest on any single sector. So he was just like steady Benoit from accounts the whole way down. He went,
calculated.
Yeah, there you go. 7-2, 3-2, and then the last split, I'm not actually sure, but he was out of the top 10. So
16,
was that what it was? Yeah, and so it's like these other guys are obviously like so up and down, but his kind of, steadiness through the middle, I think, is where where he won the race pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you look at
he had
Jackie Greenstone, and he went like
Blackstone, mate.
Blackstone, sorry. Greenstone to be if he was from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He started out 17th, and then he went like first on a couple of the last segments. So he was like heating up as he got towards the bottom. So it was it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy watching because it's so good with the live timing now. You can watch your rider go and then just watch all their splits all the way down. But yeah, some of those boys just come out of the gate so freaking hard. It's just like, is it actually watching it is pretty scary.
Speaking of coming out of the gate,
is it gnarlier than
hard.
10 years ago? Is it?
Well,
or
the
is it
tracks
just
are different. So 10 years ago, the tracks were like, most of them were pretty flat at the start gate. So Horse used to lay down some serious fucking kilowatts, eh?
He's putting the watts down.
Yeah. I was actually probably pretty lucky he never snapped a chain, to be fair.
Yeah, he's a powerful man. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I remember one race, I think it was Wyndham. I'm pretty sure it was Wyndham. And they had like a real flat section at the top. You
basically
super
down a
flat.
flat run, and then you turned right into the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
The trees, yeah.
And I remember in qualifying, because we had a pretty good number, and there was a lot of the top guys waiting behind us. And I remember it was like Hills Mechanic and probably someone else. I can't remember anyway, but yeah, just when the horse went out the gate and just kept racking gears without coming off the gas, and that thing was just bang, bang, bang. And
Imagine
I
the
turned
fleets that would have
around.
been going through the
I
back
turned
end of that
around
thing.
and they're all standing there looking at me, and I was like, "Oh, lucky I put a new chain on, eh?" And then just walked off. They just couldn't believe
man.
it.
How about, speaking of coming out of the gate hot, Valley Holes crash on the second turn. Man, what
I
a
haven't
like.
seen it.
Oh, have you not? She crashes in
No,
the
because
second.
I was there was the first because Roger qualified pretty good, and then
you
Oh,
call
so
it
you were heading
19th
up
or
with
something.
him.
I think he just got way too nervous, and then just choked a bit on his semi, and so Sarah was here, so I
Yeah.
went and watched the race with her, and that was the first race I've actually been on track for, because usually I wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
either too far or too hard, too much security, so I just
Yeah.
watch it on the TV in the pits. But yeah, it was the first race I was on track for. It's probably the best one because the fans were pretty rowdy.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
mental, but
Yeah.
no. So Valley came out of the gate, and in the second turn, and that left-hander tucked the front and went down, like big crash in the turn. So
Yeah,
that
'cause I saw her come past with dirt all over her hip. So
Yeah.
I knew she had been down, but
that gave her a 10th for the day, and then we had Marine Cabaret actually come through and scoop up a win. So first win for her this season.
yeah,
It was a little bit of a shuffle.
she deserves that. She's super nice. Right?
Yeah, she's a good rider too. Like I watch her and I'm like, man, she looks super smooth on the bike. Like she's actually looks real talented on it. So,
And I reckon Monica is. I'm not going to even try and pronounce her last name. Is it
Krasnick?
Harashnik?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
I think she's going to get stronger and stronger too. She's riding real good.
There's a few of those girls that are just like coming on pretty strong. So I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. This year's been a bit of a Valley Hole show, really, in the elite women's, but it'll be hopefully Pompon is back next year and throws a bit more stuff into it and maybe shakes things up a wee bit.
Yeah. It's just, it's pretty sad what happened to Jess, because I think if Jess could get it together, she could give her a go. But yeah, we were battling pretty hard at the start of the season.
Yeah, it was disappointing because Jess was just coming on strong and then went to hardline, which we'll try not to go down that rabbit hole because we'll probably all just start swearing.
It makes me angry.
Wait,
Basically ended the season there and then, so
yeah,
which is disappointing, especially like as she was getting better. So
yeah, because she crashed in the first race and smacked her head, and then there was because of the so much the running of all the ESO and UCI shit is just terrible, and nobody knew if she was protected or not. And
that was very confusing.
She's quite bad at being like assertive if she wants an answer. So I think she suggested like, "Am I protected?" And I was like, "I don't know," but didn't like push it to say I really want to know because I won't do qualifying if I don't have to. But she didn't really force the issue, so then Horse never went to find out because we didn't know it was such a big issue. And then she ended up, because she crashed in practice and hit her head, then I think that probably was worse than it was. Because I asked her, I was like, well, it must have been pretty hard to crack your helmet. And she's like, nah, it was just some sharp rocks, it's all good. And then I was like, well, fuck, okay, whatever. I was like, are you sure? And then she's keen to go, so then she binned it like 100 metres in on this road crossing. That was where Cathro crashed as well. I think it was
man.
quite a bit of a dangerous spot. I didn't really remember it from the track walk, but yeah, you came out onto this road and it was like sort of off camber and pretty loose.
Yeah.
And she just lost the front, probably because she didn't have the best balance from smacking her dome. But then she smacked it again, and then it was pretty dicey whether she was actually going to ride the next race, because they get real gnarly on the head injuries now. It's not like the old days where you could have just binned it like 100 times because you couldn't balance and you would just still ride anyway.
You turn up with a broken helmet and they'll be like pushing you off the line. Like,
you got tape on your helmet or something to cover the hole up.
Yeah, all good.
Just push you.
No worries.
Yeah, so then when we went to Leo Gang, she was still not feeling the best. Just like, because of all this stuff, I guess it makes you think harder as a rider. You're just doubting whether you are actually safe to ride or not. So then she was told to just take it easy. So then we ended up getting 9th, I think. But she was just sort of cruising because she wasn't wanting to push it too hard. Because it was pretty tough conditions as well. You could easily crash in that bottom steep wood section because it was quite wet. Wet but drying out, but you know, it's like there's always some frickin'
There's always
sniper
shit
that's
ready
gonna
to
take
catch you out. There's
Yeah.
always an anaconda in there waiting to get you.
Yeah, and then the next race in Val de Sol, she actually pushed quite a bit harder and got 3rd, so
Yeah, because she looked like
pretty-
Val de Sol looked like it was the coming on strong point. Like
Yeah.
this is what should be happening, like getting on the podium and
that's where she should have probably been, even in Lenzerheide, but obviously she crashed and there's nothing you can do about that. But
nah.
yeah. So
Bummer.
you can.
But she
only
did
wonder
look like
what she would have.
She looked like she hit her stride though at Val de Sol. She kind of looked like she was riding how you'd expect, right?
Yeah, she said she was pushing, but still could have gone a bit harder.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good to. I think she was still quite Valley put some serious heat into second place, but
Oh yeah.
I don't think she could have contended for the win at that track because Valley's very strong as well.
Yeah,
do
that's
have
one thing I reckon I've noticed about Valley this year is I mean, you can see she is physically strong, and you can see
strong.
it the way she hits stuff. Like you can just see that she can attack shit so much harder than the other girls can.
She looks like Sam Hill on the bike, just stands upright and just gives it to it.
She pushes
pretty
in
impressive.
hard, eh? Like when she's real positive and she pushes the bike in hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's what catches her out sometimes because she does push into stuff so hard, like the second turn last weekend. Sometimes those ones
she
just
was
catch her
late
out.
on that first corner and then just tried to punch the second and just down ski.
Those corners were shite though.
They looked
weird, eh?
They're horrendous. When we first went on track walk, I saw that first turn. I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like a full bus stop 90.
Yeah,
Didn't even have a nice entry into it.
it looked kind of steep down out of the start gate into it too. Was it it's hard to tell
I
on
didn't
camera,
walk
but
out of the start gate.
It looked like it
asked
dropped
up.
in real quick into it though.
Yeah, it was freaking pretty steep.
Lester just wanted to remind us that apparently in the last episode he called Valley crashing and not winning. So, Lester, there you go.
Yeah, he did. It was real nonchalant about it too. He's like, "Nah, she crashes." And
She
So
does crash
certain.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's
I
good.
did
She's
call,
pushing.
I did call Benoit for the win though, so I'll happily take that one to the bank. It's the first prediction I've probably made in 2 years that's come out right. So I'll pat myself on the back for that one.
How good is women's racing nowadays, though, compared to 10 years ago? Fuck.
But also, how fucking
it's
incredible
crazy
are all the juniors, our juniors that are coming through?
I know,
Unfortunately,
out of nowhere.
they've all basically, Eris crashed in time training, I think it was, and she's actually all right, but that looked pretty bad. And then
Didn't look good.
Poppy Lane had to pull out. She decided not to race, and then Sasha was 6 seconds up and crashed. So it was a bit of a rough weekend for our junior girls, but still, man, what a season.
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny after Val de Sol, everyone, like it's so crazy watching the team managers now. They're all just watching the juniors and trying to scout people.
See who's
Really?
coming up next.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. There was because you guys were, I think it was back in the Fort William podcast, and you were talking about Sasha riding a transition and then
Yeah, we all had no idea.
Yeah, it's
What
pretty
happened to the
crack up.
transition break? It did, eh?
Nah, it didn't break. She got after Val de Sol, everyone was trying to sign her up, and
Really?
she had I'm pretty sure she had a letter of intent for Specialised. I don't know
No
if
way.
it was. I don't think it would have been the main Specialised, but probably GNS, and then
Oh, and that genius
Trek,
deal,
and
yeah.
then Horse was trying to get her as well. But I mean,
Yeah.
pretty hard when you've got 4 tents and then someone else has a huge race truck. What are you?
They've
gonna
got,
do,
yeah. Yeah.
From
Just-
the outside, it's why would I take easy up setup compared
Yeah.
to a massive
Yeah.
semi truck?
Yeah. But,
Which is kind of
yeah.
sucks because, like we were saying, Horse is so good. He's got so much knowledge to give
Yeah.
these younger riders. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
rather
he's a
than just
massive
having-
asset to anyone he's involved with on that side.
Yeah. So yeah, it was actually pretty funny. She probably won't be too stoked me telling this story, but
I don't hear it.
yeah, she probably doesn't listen to it because
No one listens
we're
to
too
this show.
old,
Nah.
eh?
No,
Yeah.
she
We're in the
won't
wrong
listen.
demo.
Old and decrepit. Yeah, so
It's not on
when
TikTok,
when
so...
when Horse, me and Blinky were on Lapierre, we weren't really causing trouble, but Blinky and Brooke get real out of control.
No, you don't say.
And when Jason comes out, that
Yeah.
gets pretty bad. And so we got told by Laurent that he was never going to sign another Kiwi ever again. And so when we got told that Specialised had given her a letter of intent, I was just like, fucking what? But anyway, so basically she signed with Trek. And because it was coming into World Champs, she wasn't... Well, I guess she had a bit of time. There was a few weeks there where she could have
It was a couple of weeks in between
tried the
there.
bike out. But yeah, she ended up, I think, practicing on the transition and then at the end of practice going on the trek, and then
So
I think
just
she ended up
switched,
racing on the trek. But
switched over mid
yeah,
World
a pretty
Champs
hard
race.
situation to be in, I guess.
Yeah.
And right at World Champs, I mean, but you make pretty bad decisions when you're a junior,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, that's-
everyone did.
That's for sure.
So,
I don't know if any junior
But I
riders
guess
have
if
ever made a
you-
good decision.
oh nah, it's pretty hard, isn't it? I think if you were wise, you would have gone somewhere
I mean,
in
hey,
the
it
UK.
obviously worked for her though. She's still ended up third. So, speaking of the Trek team, I noticed that Loris was running a Maxis Assegai DHR2 tyre combo this week. So that all those Pirelli dollars on the jersey are obviously going well into them buying Maxis tyres for the races.
I can't hear you guys. Sorry, breaking.
Yeah,
You
up
lost
a little
us.
bit.
I couldn't hear KB either.
Oh shit!
You've got
No,
like a little. You've got a
It's
little radar
roboting.
symbol over your name.
He was roboting.
Guess what? Red Dog's got a little symbol on his one as well. I don't know what that's about. Has mine got
Yours
any
is
better?
definitely horrific.
Is it still
Yeah,
bad?
you got a bit better. Yeah,
It's kind of bad.
I can
for
hear
me,
you, and I can hear Snowman.
Hold on. Let me go to my settings and see what my Wi-Fi is doing.
Can you hear me, Snowman?
Yeah, real
Yeah,
good.
you're a bit.
I just can't
you're a
see
bit,
you, but that's all
You're a
right.
bit roboty as well, though. To me, so I'm
Alright.
like, is it mine that's shitting the bed?
Maybe.
You
You got that Nelson
turn
Wi-Fi, eh? You never know.
I'm going to turn my video off. See if
Yeah.
that does anything.
Oh, that symbol's gone now.
Is that any better? Can you hear me
Yeah.
any clearer? All right, maybe that's working. Speaking of the Trek team, I noticed that Loris was running a Maxis Assegai and DHR2 tyre combo this weekend in the race. So obviously that giant Pirelli logo on their jersey is paying off well for them to be able to buy Max's tyres for their races this season. I did.
Yeah, they are on Pirelli, and I was talking to PA, and he said they know the tyres not quite there yet, so
Yeah,
like
it's
to run blacked out tyres. But he actually picked up a few Continentals from us.
oh yeah, good sharing the love
Sorry.
around.
Oh yeah.
It's
You guys,
at least
they're pretty good,
fans.
eh?
I'm a long time Maxis rider too. I think anyone from New Zealand didn't ride anything else. So I think if you were riding something else, you probably weren't winning.
No, we never had any other choice except for Tioga there for a while, and I mean, those weren't really hooking up.
They were terrible, weren't they?
They were so flimsy as well.
They were bad.
They were like
Let's
half-ball.
face it, there was no other tyre that could come close.
No, not
Did
for
you
a
sell
long time.
anything else in the shops? No, you wouldn't have. It would have just been
No.
Maxis or nothing. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Maxis or walk?
CST tractor tyres for your
Your
family
commuter.
bikes, and then
Yeah,
Maxis only.
yeah.
Yeah, Continentals were shit back in the day too. They were.
They're good
frickin'
now,
bad.
though. They rate them.
Oh,
don't
they're real good.
It's,
We've
I
been
mean, you
riding
can
them
actually see that people are running them, so that's got to say something.
Yeah, they must be
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And they go pretty hard with the media and stuff. So, yeah, PA actually got a couple of Continentals off us for the rear. I think he's going to run Maxis on the front and then the Continental on the rear.
Interesting. That's at least they have that, because it's never going to be easy for a tyre company to come in and like try and just have a quality tyre, pretty much straight away like that. So at least they have that ability.
The Athertons did a lot of work for that. So, I mean, kudos to them because they are very good.
Well, the Athertons were on Continental
interesting
for
now
man,
to
they've
go
been on for
back to
years.
Yeah. They would
So
have been on the real shit ones too.
yeah, they've really come through the whole spectrum on those, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to go back to Max's tyres now after riding the Continentals for a year and then do a back-to-back comparison.
Yeah, try them
The
out.
casing's definitely, I think, a lot better on the Continental. And their tread's quite a lot deeper, so their dry tyre you can run for a lot longer into intermediate conditions.
They
And
look
then their intermediate tyre.
they look chunky.
I don't think the intermediate tyre's that good, but I don't know. I don't have to ride it.
You're not the one on the
'cause
bike.
I
Eh?
never ride it.
You just change them.
And you know me, Red Dog. As soon as things get wet, I'm fucking out of there.
Oh, mate, you've got the bikes out in the van. You're out of there, mate.
Yeah. Remember that time we went riding and it started snowing?
Oh, yeah, no, you were so out. Yeah, you were done.
I just fucked off. I didn't even say anything. I was so
You're like,
drunk.
no, I'm out. Yeah.
You're like, where are you
like-
going? And I didn't even say anything. I just rode off.
Rode off,
Went
yeah.
home.
Any lick of moisture and he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm the first one to have gumboots and a fucking big jacket on.
Yeah.
back on the racing side of things, because I'm just looking at the results here in front of me. Fucking Manar with a 7th. I mean, that guy's like, what is he, 41 or 42? Like, Jesus Christ. That was pretty impressive. He's,
I think he's actually putting in more work now than when he was younger. He really gets stuck into every single little detail.
yeah.
And
He probably needs
bit
to,
of
though.
controversy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he doesn't have the same mechanic now either.
Did hear that.
Nah.
I hear there was some falling out within the ranks, apparently, so...
Yeah. I think Petey runs a pretty tight ship, and he's don't think too stoked on some of the mistakes that were made.
Yeah, no good, but he's back
so-
with
Did you get
one of the old mechanics.
Did they get in touch with you, Snowy? They looked for the best and they thought, there he is over there.
Nah,
bring him in?
it's
Another
quite
pond
good 'cause
company.
I think, yeah, nah. I know it's real funny because I know all the old boys, and then all
Yeah.
the newcomers, like all the new teams, they have no fucking idea who I am. So it's actually quite good because I don't really want to be known.
You fly under the radar.
Yeah, you know what it's
think-
like.
Yeah, I think my favourite result from the weekend though was Juan Munoz in 13th. He smashed it. That was a fucking good ride for a guy that I've literally never heard of. But he is running number 68, so he must be relatively decent. But that was pretty impressive. And the
it was a hell of a ride.
Win was interviewing him for Win TV. He had to have a translator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I got a lot
Good
of there's quite a few people that are going really good that are just total randoms.
It's unfortunate for them because they're going real good in like the worst year to go good because there's just going to be like no budget next year for these guys. Like everything's getting tightened up.
The ESO are trying to stamp out all the little guys. They don't want that shit anymore, which is really sad.
It's shit because this is what
no other series.
This is what, exactly, and this is what makes the stories. Is like these guys that come in and pull off some good results. So
word on the street is they want to make it.
It does
more
make it.
like
It does
Formula
make it
One.
cool. It is intriguing, right?
Yeah.
I can see them trying to elevate it, but sometimes I think people just get way too ahead of themselves, and the fact that like our sport is so niche. And it's like, if you're not into it, you're just like, what are these fucking idiots doing riding their bikes down the hill so fast? Like, I don't know, it's just not...
Yeah.
It's not the sort of thing that's going to capture people's imagination quite like Drive to Survive blew up Formula One. Like, we're not Formula One.
But I don't think you could ever have it like that.
No, we're a weird little niche sport. Like, we've got to face the facts.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah, do you think you could actually grow the sport to be much bigger than it is? Like, when you look at, like, Snow, when you go around the pits, it's fucking massive, eh, with the rigs and shit now. Like, it's got a lot of money in it. Do you think it could get any bigger?
I think it's just going to make it worse. Because at the moment, there's no space as it is. Like, even in Leger, like, we're supposed to be an elite team, and we're in a fucking gravel car park with next to Trek, who's a massive team as well. Yeah. And we're down the road.
And Rufus and Joe Nation in the bush, you're pretty much there, were you?
Yeah, well, they would just be in the tree line just above us.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, even though Leger is like a sick track, there's not enough space there. So if they wanted to turn it into more Formula One, they're going to have some serious problems with the venues they go to. And I think it might end up being similar to the way it was back in the day, where the tracks were just going to these like locations because of the allure of the location rather than how good the track actually was.
It's still so hard to actually even put something in a location that's going to work. Like, even if it is a slightly better location, it's not like we're not Formula One. Like, you know, they go to Monaco and they have a street circuit, and it's like, you know, the fucking rich and famous, and then like everywhere's so accessible. And I think as well, like, the F1 thing is most people drive a car every day, so they get the fact of like how fast they can kind of picture how fast these cars are going, so they can actually put something to it. But it's like, if you're not anyone that rides bikes, like, it's not that interesting.
And if you look at it on Formula One for like the point of view for the teams, you're going to a race circuit, right? So there's already they have the area for the big rigs and the teams.
All the infrastructure.
I'd say a Formula One team's got like a retarded amount of staff, and you've just got so many more people to support it. Whereas in downhill, I mean, the only one that was really good this year was Ludenville, because you have a massive park at the bottom of the hill and the track's like across the road. But the start is like, it's freaking miles from the top of the lift.
Oh, really?
Like we had to have a car. Right. We had to have a car at the top of the track, and we couldn't even get that close because there was just a winding mountain road.
Huh.
And
interesting.
For us to go up the lift, so we had just logistical nightmares at that race, because we had to have a car at the top where we left the trainer and stuff, because you can't
Yeah.
just like leave your trainer lying around.
Yeah.
And we were lucky it wasn't raining, because if it was raining, it would be freaking nightmare. They provide the teams with, well, all the riders with one tent at the top, which you can fit about, I don't know, maybe 20 people in it. So you think there's only 20 people can be in that tent. The rest of the people just, if you're not there early enough, you're fucked, basically, and you're outside. So if it's pissing down, you're outside with umbrellas, and it's just miserable. And then imagine warming up in that, it'd be shit. Even Fort William, when it pissed down, I put the trainer in the on the stairs under this like portico to the restaurant, and the security told me to basically fuck off. And I said, well, you provide us with a better place to warm up instead of one fucking tent, mate. Like, what do you want me to do? I was like, I'm not going in the rain. And he's like, well, you can't go there. And I was like, well, fucking whatever. I'm not moving.
Does the lift station at the top still fill up
And
with trainers as well? Because that
it was all full.
used to be the spot
And-
where everyone was.
Yeah, it's key. Yeah.
There was people in the foyer of the restaurant. Like, it was hacking it down. There was like a river going past. There was people, like Yuki Kashima was in the fucking rain, like in a river warming up. It's like,
Really?
and there's people that, like Blinky, that don't take a trainer to the top because he can't. Like,
Yeah.
unless he's got someone around that can take it up for him, there's nothing he can do. So I lent him my trainer set up, and just because he wasn't too far behind Roger, so I just let him use that because I felt sorry for him.
Oh, it's
Because
nice
it
of
was
you.
just raining so bad.
Oh man, that
Well,
place is
I
grim
mean,
as well when it's
Anyone
like
else
that.
would do the same. It's just terrible. Like,
Yeah.
they want it to be more professional, but they don't really give a fuck.
Nah, it's
What's
time.
the
It
point in
needs,
just squashing all the small teams if you can't even look after the people that are actually trying to race the thing to provide
Yeah.
them with content? Because at,
Like if you-
at the moment, it's just based on content, what they get out of it.
yeah. It makes me wonder, speaking of content, like, man, the EDR, I don't know, I feel like the EDR series is just fading away at the moment. Like, the content just seems to be less and less coming out of there, and like, I don't know whether it's become like more of a focus for these guys just with them taking over downhill or what, but I'm like, I don't know. It seems to have lost its luster a bit, that series. I couldn't even tell you who's leading it.
They're trying. No,
Did I
I
Dick,
don't
isn't
think,
it?
I don't think I
Did I
ever
Dick?
really watched it anyway back
Oh,
in
good.
the day when it
That's good.
started.
No,
I used
it's
to
too
watch
hard
it
to
all
watch.
the time, but now
Yeah, I
don't
couldn't work out
seem
how
to
the
seek it
fuck
out.
to know what was going on. And even
Yeah.
their live timing's freaking shite. You basically just got to wait till the end of the race to know who wins. If you try and look up the live timing, it's like you've got to know how to filter the tracks out, and you've got to know who's still yet to come on that stage.
Yeah, it's a pain in
And
the ass
so
because you'll.
you can have people. They're already finishing like stage 4 or 5, but not everyone's come down on stage 2 yet.
Yeah.
So you don't even know who's actually in the lead. So it's impossible. They need to. I think they almost need to run that like they do with like rally, and you
gets
don't
real
start the next
confusing.
stage till everyone's completed. It may be. It's just stupid though. Like, how are you supposed to make a sport like that if you limited it to 40 riders? Like, no one would fucking turn up to race it. You wouldn't get people
No.
wanting to race it. And it's gonna get the same. I think if they keep pushing downhill the way they are, I think it'll end up in the same boat. You're gonna get people that, especially teams like, if there's only 30 riders that even get airtime, who the fuck's gonna want to put money into that?
They
if
need
you've
to-
not got one of the 30 fastest riders in the world, and 30's nothing.
Nah,
People have like 5
It's tiny.
riders on a team,
Yeah.
so there's no teams then.
well, 30
But
riders.
then they won't have problem with the space.
Your 30 riders is like, you look at a team, say, like Specialized with like Finn and Jordan. There's 10% of the finals. Like, those 3 should really, well, 2 out of those 3 for sure should be in the finals, and Jordan probably should be 2. And then like Seneca
Yeah.
is same thing. And it's like, there's 20% of finals out of 2 teams. So
Yeah.
it doesn't go very far.
I don't see why they don't just put it back to what it was. It
Yeah.
why change a good thing? It was so good before.
Yeah. Like
But
I
it
saw
was-
Win
you
saying
like say
something.
it's niche, so it's
Yeah.
Do
I don't know.
you
They need
do you
to
dislike
make
the
it-
semi-final though, Snow?
yeah, it's fucking shit. Get
You
rid
don't
of
like the semi-final?
it. Nah.
I
Waste
like
of
the
fucking time.
semi-final.
Your
I like
points,
it 'cause you
even
can watch
if you
some
do
live
well in
racing in New Zealand.
semi-finals, if you do well in semi-finals, and you crash in your final, you don't get any points. What the fuck's
Yeah,
the point in
look,
trying?
Nah, you still get
I
30.
get the. Yeah, you still get
Yeah,
30.
but they're not.
You get the 30.
You don't get. No, you don't get your UCI points.
But you still get 30
No, out of the
points,
final you
like
do.
overall series points you do from the final.
Yeah, you would get your points from the final from last place if you rip your wheel off like Jason did last weekend and didn't qualify. You know what I mean? Like you blow a wheel up and then get nothing.
Yeah.
But do you not think as a fan it's better to see riders twice as much than, once?
No.
Like I get to
No,
watch
I
Benoit
think
twice.
it's worse for fans. Yeah, but for the real hardcore people, for sure. But I've got a lot of friends in New Zealand that are not super hardcore downhill fans, and they haven't watched a single race this year because it's too hard.
definitely
It's
think
too boring. It's just so long.
I definitely think the paywall has stopped people watching. People who
Yeah,
would have
I
been more
reckon so.
casual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of them have
watched
bothered
it.
to pay for it, and it's
Because-
and I don't know what it's been like for you guys, but you got to wake up, you got to stay awake all night.
Nah, I watch.
No, I don't
Usually
do that.
we can.
I don't watch
Usually
the
we
semis
can
either
watch.
a lot of the time.
Well, there you go. So what's the point in having the semis if you don't even watch it?
Well,
I do
yeah,
when
that's
it's
a good
like
point.
on at a reasonable hour.
Quite often-
Exactly,
I'll
but
watch it live.
Quite
and it's
often
cool.
you can.
yeah,
Quite often you can watch semi-finals on like a Saturday night, and then just watch finals
Yeah, that's
delayed
awesome.
whenever you get into it. But it's I do like watching the semis, but you're right. Like if it's not at a time that I can watch it, I'm not going to watch it. Like I'm only going to watch finals, and even finals I struggle to watch sometimes. But I think if I was trackside watching as a fan, I'd like to see that because then I see everyone, well not everyone, but all the top guys racing twice.
but it's worse watching trackside.
Why?
You got to wait 4 minutes to see someone. You get
I mean,
to
that's
see them
always-
for like what 10 seconds as they go past, and then you wait 4 to 5 minutes for the next rider.
That's
that's a
always
TV
been
thing,
downhill
eh?
though, right?
Yeah.
But also downhill just
Nah, the
sucks
gaps
like that
haven't
because
been
you
that
always
big.
have big gaps. No, that's
was
true.
3
They
minutes
haven't always been
before.
that
It
big.
was
but
3 minutes.
3 MG, 3 minute gaps.
3MG, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So nah, we're probably not going
I
to
think
solve the
there is
problems of
arguments
the
either
World Cup.
way, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't care either way, to be honest. But I do like that you get to see guys more. And also, if they didn't do semis, then why wouldn't you just do qualifying on one of the qualifying race again? Because that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Pack it all in one
Yeah,
day.
see,
that's all good. Yeah,
yeah, they should bring back qualifying and racing in one day. Just
reckon
maybe
it's
cut
good.
out. Maybe just cut out qualifying and just do like semi-finals, finals in one day.
yeah.
Same
What they
shit.
need to do is have
guess
qualifying
it
on
gets-
Thursday, 4 cross on Friday,
Dual slalom
and
on
then
Saturday.
qualifying and race on Saturday. Yeah.
I miss the days of
Either
four-cross
dual
when-
slalom or 4 cross, and it needs to be compulsory for every downhill racer. You
Well, you should
Everyone
get
can't.
points.
you qualify,
You sh-
and then you can't race the race unless you've raced. the
Nah,
dual
they should
slalom
make it like
or
a super series. So this is like what they're doing in motocross, like with the SMX series at the moment. But it's 4-cross and downhill, and you get points from both for the overall. So you need to race 4-cross
and maybe
to keep,
just make
you know.
the points like low for the 4-cross, so you don't have to it doesn't matter so much on the results.
Yeah.
But you imagine if you lose the overall by 3 points. And
Yeah,
you could have
maybe
got
like-
3 points by racing the 4-cross the night before. You'd be fucking frothing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because remember, like, you know, the early to mid 2000s, and everyone would be like racing 4-cross as well, like Menards winning 4-crosses, and you know, like Hill and Rennie and shit are racing it, and like those were the days right there.
Yeah.
I want to see some
They
downhill
did have
racing
4-cross
4-cross again.
at yeah, they had 4-cross at Val di Sole, but I was too
What?
sick to go watch it.
There was 4-cross
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, they always
They
have
got
it
that
there.
sick
They always
4-cross
because
track
the
there.
track's there.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did too. That's right. Walker raced
They run
it
like the
last
Worlds and
year
stuff
or the
there.
year before. Yeah. Who knew it was even still a sport? That's probably the most amazing
I think
part.
there's just, they love it. I think maybe Val de Sol, they're so isolated that they don't actually know that there's no four-cross series anymore.
They still just think it, so they just keep running it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. We had
There's some freaking weird people there.
we 1 year, it was the first year at World Champs at Val de Sol in 08, and me and Win and might have been Brooke were there early. We got there like a day or two before everyone else for some reason, and we're staying at this hotel, and all we had was our downhill bikes because you never travelled with anything else at that point. Like you just had a downhill bike, and that was all you had all season. And they had these like 1990s just like rigid shitters with cantilever brakes and stuff on them. So we went out riding on them just for the sake of going out riding, and we found these like Nordic ski trails which were real gnarly. And being young and dumb, and also only having downhill bikes, we only had full faces, so we were riding with no helmets or anything because we'd just gone out and been riding bike paths for a start. We get back, and these bikes were fucked, and the hotel manager's losing his shit, locks them all up, and bans everyone from riding them for the rest of the week, like race week, like the whole New Zealand. We just all got banned from them, and they're all locked up for the rest of the week. I was like, oh, yeah, New Zealanders are here. Welcome to the hotel.
Kiwis are real bad at winding each other up, eh? And the situations just get super out of control.
Yeah. It's a real one-upmanship goes on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone's like, oh, I got to go better than that.
Yeah.
And then it just snowballs big time.
Gets real bad. Right, speaking of snowballs, I got a couple of questions for you, Snowy. I actually already asked you one of them. What has been the biggest change with bikes since you were last on the circuit? Is there like one thing that stands out that you're like, man, this is different? Probably wheel size.
Yeah, but I was sort of around when it changed anyway.
It's not like you've exited it. It's not like you haven't been like looking at bikes for the last 10 years, but I guess like is there something that really stands out in terms of like quality or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the sport's just grown so far. It's just, I personally think the biggest difference is how good trail bikes are now.
That's true.
It's not even downhill related. But you know what I mean? You can ride a trail bike down any downhill track we used to race on.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
And you wouldn't have been able to ride a trail bike at that era, like 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to ride a trail bike down some of the downhill tracks. They'd be too gnarly.
Well, if you took a
granted you can't ride it as fast, but
if you took like a 29er, 160, 170 mil trail bike or whatever from now, like enduro bike, you'd probably be able to go significantly faster than you could if you grabbed a 26-inch Sunday from 2008.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, you should just come and ride the Zero, KB. It's
imagine
you even notice it with that.
Imagine sending someone back in a time machine with just an enduro bike 10 years ago. I reckon they would have won a World Cup if they had enough. If you sent the rider and like if you send Richie Rude on his current EWS bike back 10 years when he was racing junior, he would destroy everybody on it. On any of those tracks.
Well, I mean, remember...
Yeah, it's just like... It's not like... There's nothing crazy that's sort of changed. I think just everything has just incrementally got so much better that you... and even the tracks, like the tracks now suit the bikes we ride, so then everything's just getting faster and faster and faster.
It all changes together, doesn't it? Like, it's all kind of on a parallel. The tracks change, so the bikes change to suit the tracks, and...
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had a meeting with Shimano at Leger, and they're talking about the new Saint, and I was like, about time. I'm pretty sure, apart from the clutch, or maybe they already had the clutch then.
No, I reckon they had the clutch.
Do you reckon?
Not much has changed.
We were running SRAM. we were running SRAM back then, but and they had that first version of the clutch. But I think, yeah, that's the same groom set that the other teams were running when I was working. So what? There was no real big difference. Nothing's really changed.
I was going to ask you what.
Just
I was
set
going to
up.
ask you what
Everyone's
hasn't changed at all.
probably the telemetry.
Yeah, that's
Probably
different.
telemetry. The
Yeah.
use of telemetry is just a lot more prolific now. It's like it's just.
I was going to ask you what hasn't changed.
People
at all,
are a lot
but
more
clearly it's
onto-
Shimano Saint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it hasn't, has it? How good's that group set though? I don't think you.
Pretty solid.
I
pretty
don't think you
bomb-proof.
have any other group set that's won. That many World Cups and
shit,
potentially
no.
World Champs that has lasted that long.
Nah, not the
You
longevity
think how
that thing's
many?
put in.
How you think how big SRAM has changed? How much SRAM has changed, and that Saint group set's still competitive.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
even
stood
wrong
the
with
test
it,
of time.
really.
Nah, not
There's
really.
nothing
I
wrong
mean,
with it.
yeah, the brakes are a bit outdated.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, you still need a chain, a cassette, crankset.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with that stuff. It's legit.
No, it's all good.
Cranks, they never change anyway.
I mean,
They
they're a
make them
bit
look a bit different.
they're a bit late to the party with we've got to run like a road cassette with half of it not there, and we've got to flip the low adjuster screw around so it's a bit longer.
Oh, do you have to do that? Yeah.
Oh, just
Yeah.
shit like that, which is. But I like that shit. I think that's the cool part of being a World Cup mechanic because you're getting brand new stuff and having to modify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun when you get to like modify shit up and like make it kind of more factory.
Definitely
Down with
the
it.
worst thing that I've had to deal with was bleeding brakes, just all day, every day. Maybe I just fucking suck at it.
Maybe it's the you problem.
Brakes, eh?
Yeah. Nah,
If you bleed a SRAM,
every
it's
rider
way
I've
easier.
had is. Oh, sorry.
Go on, Snowman.
Oh, every ride I've had, they've just been running them all the way in. And so
Oh, yeah.
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
servo wave, you run it all the way in. It's just in this
Yeah.
mushy point. And so the lever consistency is just terrible.
Yeah.
And they get hot. And then it's pushing the fluid back up. And then the lever goes
Yeah.
out. And then
Yeah.
the rider complains, oh, my levers are fluctuating. And you're just like, fuck, well, there's no fucking air in it. And then I bleed it and nothing comes out.
Yeah, that's why I run them like that, and don't like Shimano's because of that, because I can never get it right.
You guys will love this shit as well. Have you actually looked hard at photos of Pinky? Like his hands?
Yeah, middle finger.
It's ridiculous.
Middle finger
braking.
brakes.
What the fuck?
And guess what he doesn't have any problems with?
Arm pump or levers?
Like arm
The
pump,
brakes.
yeah.
No, the brakes, because he runs them all the
'Cause
way out.
Your levers
He's
would have to be
100%
so
all the
far
way
out. I don't
Man,
know
that's
how he does
gnarly.
that.
Dude, that's
Dude.
gnarly.
He was talking about it the other day, and he's like, man, everyone just keeps giving me a hard time about Roma rates. I was like, dude, who cares? If you want to run middle finger, run it. And he's like,
Fuck.
it's kind of hard to pull up sometimes, but it's like, I just got to
Oh,
really.
God.
He's just like, I just got to really think about it and grip a bit tighter when I'm about to pull up.
Oh my god.
Why does he do it?
Why
Do you
does
know
he?
why he
Yeah.
does it?
Is it just?
I don't know. I think he must have just learnt that way, and he's never changed.
That's
'Cause
so
I guess
bizarre.
A
He
lot of
would've had,
motocross
like-
riders do that.
I've seen moto
They run it
guys
on the
do it
clutch.
with their clutch,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
breakers.
because you don't need to pull it
That's
all the way. And
gnarly.
you just want it to slip a bit. But
Yeah. I couldn't get my middle finger to do that, I don't reckon.
Nah.
Like, it's too slow.
But that's because you've learnt for so long to do it with the index finger. You just can't do it with your middle finger.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sitting here with my hands in like a grip position with my middle fingers out, and it's just like it feels so unnatural. Like it just all the I
It
can
feels
feel
real
like all
grainy.
all my tendons
Yeah.
are like pulling in weird
Yeah.
places, and
Because it was real funny. We had the Shimano engineers there, and they were looking at all our bikes, and they took photos of my hands on the grip because I run my brakes pretty close to the grip, and my shifter and dropper post levers like real closely. Like, oh, but you'll hit it, and I was like, well, I don't have very wide hands, and I run my hands all the way out on the grips, right to the end.
Yeah,
So I know
right
where the
towards
end
the
of the
end,
grip
yeah.
is. And then they looked at Pinky's bike, and they're like, what the hell? These little Asian guys, they couldn't believe it, because they could barely even reach his frickin' brake.
Yeah, he would have to have the
That's
lever
so funny.
pull way out there. But then
and his levers are hard against the grip, and then and then his shifter is like on the other side of the brake.
So I'm the opposite. Like I've always got like, I think it's 45 mil between my grip and my brake lever on SRAM. So like I have my lever way in on the bar. So
far.
you can only just like, my index finger is actually kind of pointing in at an angle just so I've got the end of the lever. I couldn't imagine having it like all the way in like that. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's probably my biggest takeaway when I saw that of this race. I was like, holy shit, he's a middle finger breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he must be the only
So
one.
crazy.
Surely. I
remember-
it has to
really
be.
think.
I remember seeing a picture of Tracy Mosley in like the early 2000s doing it, and that's the only other person I can ever remember seeing having run it. Yeah, absolutely wild.
Yeah, pretty
Does she
crazy.
still or nah? She
Yeah.
can't do it anymore.
I don't even think it was like a common thing. Like I feel like it was just some random like for a little bit of time or something. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Very very interesting, that one. Any other dramas going on in the pit, Snowy? Anything else good?
Dramas.
Yeah. I mean, not the brake levers are a drama.
How
but-
shit was it that they cancelled the junior race? at
that was pretty
Louisville?
disappointing. Especially
What the
your boy
hell?
Pinky.
How wet was it, Snow? How wet was it?
Well,
Would
it
you have
wasn't
had a crack?
raining. Yeah. Dude, that was a sick
Reckon-
track. You guys would love that track.
It
was
looked so good.
cool.
It looked
So it
fun.
wasn't
made me
even
want to ride down
Flat
the
at the
bottom.
top to like ease into it, and then it just got rowdy as all hell.
So it wasn't even as wet as like a
It
Gravity
was the
Canterbury
same
Summer
conditions
Series.
as what?
Like,
Oh shit, no. It's real similar actually. The ground's like super dark, like sort of clay stuff, and it's like ice when it's wet.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
It was very wet for the juniors, but they would have practiced the elite in between their race, and the track would have cut in. It didn't, because it got ridden the whole week in the dry, and then it rained, and then they had to ride it first up in the wet, and it was like, well, obviously it's
They got
going to
the
be
worst part.
horrific. Yeah, but they should have either like put the elite men on it, or the A practice,
Yeah.
and then given them another short practice session so they could have one run to see what the track's like, because it would have
Yeah.
got way better, and then they could have raced it for sure, easy. And the junior race finishes pretty early, so
yeah.
it's not early, but it doesn't take long to get through all those juniors. There's not as many because they've already qualified, and they cut it down to, was it 25 or something?
I don't even know where it's at these
I think
days.
it's like 15. I think it's actually less
Yeah,
than 25.
it's nothing. Like
Yeah.
it'll be an hour to get through all those kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's not like
Just
they're
have it
having
at the
to
end of the day.
get them on TV or
No.
anything.
And they were like, it was all this stuff like, oh, we can't get the marshals into place properly, and if someone gets hurt, it's too hard to like get to them, and it's like, it's not obviously going to get drier and drier. And then that night, it hacked it down all night, and they just raced the elite as
And it was
normal.
still
And I was
like-
what the fuck? It was exactly the same conditions. The only difference is the track got ridden in a bit more.
It's
Yeah.
like you can't
It was exactly the same.
say the juniors aren't good riders when Pinky's race time in Leger was 5th fastest in elite qualifying on the same day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, these
He's
guys are
Yeah,
pretty.
that was sick.
These juniors are pretty legit.
I think one of them got injured though. I can't remember.
Bodie Coon's
What?
been out.
Yeah, he's been out.
Yeah, it must have been him. I forget what
Yeah.
their names are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His mate
it's hard,
Evan is pretty fast too, but
it's hard to keep
I
up.
think he needs to work a bit more on his fitness.
Yeah,
Are they
don't all?
faster than they used to be? Snow? Do you reckon? Like, are they faster than like Hermit and stuff?
Just so different, hey.
Mm.
But it's just the riding's way different now. Like if
You
you
can't really
watch,
compare eras.
if you watch a race run from Like, they had French nationals in Leger 10 years ago. You watch Bruni ride, because he would have been junior then, to now Pinky, and it would be totally different because the bikes are so different. Just everything's evolved.
Yeah,
It's so sick.
that's for sure.
Is it cooler
Right.
now than it was, though, when you were with Horse, like on Lapierre, and he was slaying podiums and stuff? Was the sport cooler then, or is it cooler now?
It was way cooler then, eh? Because way looser stuff used to happen, and you wouldn't get in trouble for it because before iPhones, you couldn't really like video people. And
No one took
trouble.
videos of it.
Yeah,
I
it was before
remember
iPhone,
saying
yeah.
to Horse when he went on the podium, I was like, "You got to spray one of the podium girls with the champagne." He was in like fifth, so he was right off to the side, and they stepped back behind like the screen, and he just turns around and blasts her in the face. That was sick. You wouldn't be able to get away with that now. You'd be, they would hang you for it.
There's,
Yeah.
like, you hear the stories of like the old motocross guys just like making out with the trophy girls and stuff on the podium. It's like, yeah.
And how lame is it they don't give the juniors champagne at every race? Not
What do they
exactly
give them?
giving it.
Bottle of water, bottle of sparkling water.
Nothing. Nah. At Andorra, because I guess the laws are a bit looser there, they gave them champagne. But just about every other race, they haven't had champagne.
The
Well, I
drinking
guess
laws are pretty
legally they
loose in
can't give
Europe.
it to them, so...
No, but in France, drinking age is 16.
Oh,
In
well,
France,
that's
it's
all right.
like pretty much if you can
Exactly,
see
so-
over the bar, they'll serve you.
Yeah, exactly. They don't check anyone's ID there.
No, they don't care.
But I don't know why
Not even
you
yours.
wouldn't give them champagne. It's just lame. That stuff sucks. That stuff's
Yeah.
making downhill uncool.
It'll come
not
back.
the champagne in particular, but just some
It's like that's not just the one thing.
Yeah. No, but it's just stuff like that.
It's really ruining it.
And everyone's like way more serious now. It's
I was
not-
just about to say,
it was like
is there still pretty
motocross
loose?
in the 90s, you know.
Yeah, is there still pretty loose parties? Like, is there still a bit going down post race?
Oh, I'm just so old, eh? You go to the
It's
parties
so
and
past
like,
your bedtime, you don't know what's going on.
yeah, it's like, fuck. People probably think I'm just creepy.
I guess that's pretty
Everyone
fair
just
point.
looks so young.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get away
But
with
they
it
have
in,
more
like, 22.
organised parties.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because there used to
They
be
have more
some...
like sort of festival type stuff, really.
Yeah. There used to be some pretty
Which
out
is
of
good,
control
'cause it
after
sort of
parties.
involves everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was...
definitely. some
Yeah, that would
pretty
be
bad
that would
ones.
that would be another podcast for another time. That would probably be one we'd have to keep behind the paywall because there might be some incriminating stuff in those ones. That's probably more of a like we'll sit down without it being recorded and reminisce on those ones.
Yeah, I think,
It
but
was-
you could just do one episode on New Zealand national parties rather than World Cup parties.
Yeah, I reckon I suggested
I
we
always
need
felt
to.
World Cup parties were a little bit more subdued than any
Yeah,
national mountain bike race or
When-
Oceanias I've ever been to.
we need to have a round table of like 6 or 7 people from like the mid 2000s of downhill racing in New Zealand just to discuss the antics that went on. But yeah, that was a time for sure. Well, I reckon we've probably talked enough about Leger and
No
all
other
the tangents we've
questions?
been on. I don't have anything else written down. Red Dog's gone on mute, so I don't know. He's probably just disappeared on us.
Oh, the baby
Nah.
monitor thing was just going off, so...
Ah, yeah, nice. I actually I want to do a deeper dive with you, Snowy, at some point where we don't talk about racing that's going on currently and talk about all the other stuff. So we're going to have to get you back for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've got way too much. We'll
We've
have to.
got a lot of stories.
Yeah, we'll catch
We'd
up.
have to
I
start from
reckon.
the beginning. We want to hear
Yeah.
Nate share it, years, etc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were
Now,
good.
once
Way to the
you-
top.
Once you're back on home turf, I reckon we'll catch up and we'll do it in the hot seat and get the full Snowy story.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's bedtime here. It's bedtime.
Fair
It's
enough.
late. No, that's good. Thanks for joining us and regaling us with some stories of what's actually going on in the World Cup pits. Yeah,
Well, I got a lot
It's-
more. Yeah, that's why I was surprised you didn't ask me more questions.
Oh, I don't know how deep you want
If
to
you
get
don't ask, you don't
into
find out.
team rumours. We'll have to save that for the group chat, and then we'll just throw some vague rumours into our next episodes. But
Yeah. Just,
unless you got,
I can just send me a message and I'll tell you anything you want to know.
yeah, you just feed
You
us
can
the
decide
rumours.
whether you let that information go.
Yeah, you can just feed us the rumours, and then we'll sound like we know what we're talking about on the podcast, and we won't say who they came from.
And if I don't know, I can do my best to find out.
Yeah, there we go.
You should give us like 2 actual rumours and then 1 real fake one. And we have to decide which one's real.
Well, then obviously if it's real fake, you'll know that's the fake one.
Oh, make it believable. KB's going to spark
No,
up his
but-
vital account. He's going to be in that team rumours forum so fast.
Yeah,
Well,
get in there deep.
there's a lot of teams that are having shake-ups at the end of this year, so... And I heard there was 12 enduro teams that were stopping.
Whoa.
12.
I don't know how true that is, but I definitely know there's quite a few that are stopping, including GT.
They must be hurting, man.
Glory days of enduro is gone.
Because do you remember? I remember when Nation was racing like enduro and stuff, and like it was in the heyday, and those guys are making good money, like a long way back in the field as well.
Well,
So times have turned in about 5 years.
Yeah.
How many enduro teams does Santa Cruz have? And they're the top, arguably the top downhill team, aren't they?
0.
And you know why? Because there's no money in it.
Nah. And they never really have. Like, they had Mark and Argo for a while, but it was never really a full-on, like...
Cedric for a bit.
Trying to be super deep into it. So...
Yeah,
and they
Cedric,
still sold plenty of enduro
his
bikes.
femoral artery, eh?
Oh, that still makes me feel a little bit sick when I think about that. Especially because I've seen... Have you seen the video of when he does it? There's a video, like helmet cam footage, and through the whole thing, and you're just like... I'm pretty sure in it, he's like, I'm dying. Like, I'm going to die. I'm just like, oh God.
I'm real lucky when I broke my femur. Imagine if I'd ruptured that. Fuck. That's the first thing I thought was like... Because the doctors, they're like, oh, you're real lucky you didn't rupture your femoral artery. And I was like, okay. Like, you're just like, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. But then you see that video and you're like, holy shit, they're for real. Like, you would be dead. You'd just bleed out.
Yeah, in like minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
Because I think it took them
one.
like, when I broke my femur, it took them like 40 minutes to get me into the helicopter.
Jesus, where did you do yours?
So you imagine bleeding, you would just be, you'd be dead. There's no way.
Where were you
your
when you
leg
did
would be
yours?
real full of blood.
Oh, it'd be gross.
It's pretty embarrassing. It was on gum trees.
No, that's all right. You could have just said Vic Park.
Yeah, I could have, but then, I mean, I think it's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
I know, bro.
like-
Gummers is gnarly.
You'll know that track pretty well. And
Yeah.
most old school guys would as well. My shoelace was untied after I did that like little road gap at the top.
Yeah.
And I stopped at the top of the airstrip and I tied my shoe back up. And I knew everyone would be waiting, so I sprinted the airstrip and come over that cattle stop like hot
Into the
as,
rock garden.
First
round the
right-hander.
corner. And then I did exactly what T-Bone Brella did at Ludenville and just blew a hand off out the front and just tomahawked it through that straight of rocks.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
just need a massive boulder and it just snapped. I just was going over the bars, like hands out in front of me, and my knee just was kind of tucked in towards my stomach, and I just kneed a massive rock, and it just snapped it.
Oh, gross. And then
And John
how long?
Church had to wait with me while Nathan and Hampton went down to call an ambulance or whatever, and he couldn't look at me. He was he was on borderline of fainting, and I was like,
no.
Dude, it was so gnarly. You can't move. Like, your body's just, like, stopping you from moving anywhere. I couldn't even drag myself off the track. It was, like, so weird.
No, that's a big old bone. That's a big old bone to be broken and keeping stable. It was, and were you like last person? Did it take them a bit to come back and find you?
Yeah, they were down at the skid site, so they'd run all the way to the top of gum trees, pretty much.
Oh, fuck. That's probably after like 10 minutes of sitting there being like, I wonder where he is, before they even start making their way back up.
I was yelling. I remember yelling to them.
Man.
Just because I was in the middle of the track, and someone come around the corner at one point, but they were already there by then. But yeah,
Jesus, that's grim.
Not really a fun time to do that by yourself.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I
well,
realised how big a crash it was once I got my bike back, because I'd snapped my brake lever right off, and I dented my fork closing so hard the fork only had like 10 mil of travel.
Oh man.
It was pretty. I think it's just going too fast, just young and dumb.
Coming hot. Yeah, you don't think about it at that age. Not now that we're in our 30s.
Nah.
Crashing's a lot worse of an experience, so you try and avoid it at all costs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we will actually have to wrap it up though, because my device I'm recording on is about to go flat. So before that shits itself and ruins it all. Thanks for joining us, and we will definitely have you back for a more in-depth episode for sure. Thanks to anyone that's actually made it this far of listening to us talk shit. That's always always appreciated. So we're off for a few weeks now. I don't know what we're going to do in between, but we might just take a break until snowshoe. So that'll be kind of nice.
Hey, mate.
We'll
get those team rumor questions through to me, and I'll find out some juicy information.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a team rumors podcast maybe, just to throw some rumors out there in the world. I'm just going to read the Vital Forum and take everything from there, because there's no way those people are wrong. So no. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks, Noe. Thanks, Red Dog.
Thanks, man.
See the listeners next time.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
What's up? I come from the land of down under. I can't hear you. What was that? I can't hear you. I let it be like John Lennon, the anti-serum that you don't get for poisonous venom. Read the label carefully, I'm only here for the show. I love hip-hop too much to let you feed my ego. In the key of F-U-C-K, Y-O-U. I mean, why do I owe you if you're not helping me through? I mean, why do I owe you if you're obstructing my view? Success is not my castle, just a house that's brand new. You see, I irrigate the culture, give it shape like a sculpture. Still complicated, rock like I'm supposed to. B-L-I-T-Z like my DJ. Rock to the rhythm like you rock to what he plays.